Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Gilles.
Good morning. Just came back to the computer and saw that I did not get filled. Good morning. Did not get filled on my short on gold. And that would have hit target very quickly. Don't know what's going on here, but now that it's moved, I'll take it off. This was a paper trade that I was looking at, but I was seriously considering taking it in my real account. I don't like that it's right before 9:15. I don't usually get into position, so that's why I figured I'd put it on in the paper trading just to see how it would have reacted. And we started selling over here. This is where I started the fib, and then put in this long tail hammer over here. And I was seeing if we could get back into the range of the 50% retracement. And I just could not make it up there. So this is definitely selling this morning. We are approaching a level from yesterday. This yesterday low here does not work properly. You can see how it's moving right now. So the market is open. Anybody trading the open, good luck. Please don't hesitate to continue talking. I'm just going to share here. The only thing I wanted to share, I'm not going to do all the earnings. The only thing on earnings is Nvidia tomorrow. Economics calendar, doesn't seem to be anything going on. There are no 3-star important things here. So yeah, I'm just going to eyeball what's going on in the markets for the first little bit. Take off these drawings here. We are at higher time frame support or just below it. So this would be very interesting to see what happens. So was it a liquidity sweep down here? Doesn't look like it because we swept and then came down and just hung out here. But that is massive volume. I know it is the open, but could we be buying on NQ? Yes, did not take out liquidity below yesterday's low. Gold is there is lots of room to the left, so kind of regret missing this short here, even if it was just on a paper trade. MCL is at an interesting level. Did a double top here yesterday. Lots of room to the left. Very interesting level here for possible continuation or a possible reversal. Hey, hello, Evo.
Good morning, Jill. Looks like Nvidia out of the gate pretty strong, along with AMD, and INTC's got a pretty good showing so far. Palantir, my usual suspects.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I just put HD on here because they had earnings this morning, so I was looking at that. Stayed within the first 5-minute range and then broke down below. This is something I used to trade below that first 5-minute, especially a break and retest of that level. I would put a level there. It had positive earnings, but the market didn't like those positive earnings, at least so far. So if this does come back to the low of that 5-minute candle, I'd be very curious to see if it pulls back, does a retest for the further move down. But it already has been coming down quite a bit. So did we actually just find buyers over here? Maybe. Could be putting in a Kangaroo Tail over here. Just as far as my Kangaroo Tail strategy, I do not like buying under S6. I don't like buying after it's done this big move. Could happen. Could be finding support. Could be finding buyers over here. But HD is definitely one that's in play over here. And I'd be curious to see what it does at the 295 area. And then I'd be zooming in to the smaller time frame to see if it retests and goes down. We'll come back to it in a few minutes. You had said AMD and INTC. So let's look at those.
The semis and the wild card for the day for me, I'm watching BILI, BILI. I think they've got a news report. They're
Yeah, I remember trading that a couple of years ago.
Huh?
I remember trading that a couple of years ago. Isn't that a Chinese company?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of check it out today.
Yeah.
That's it.
I wanted to point out this this Kangaroo Tail from INTC from yesterday. Right, we were talking about, whoops, let me move that away. Actually, I don't need that, so we'll take that out. We talked a lot about this one. It did end up not necessarily making it to 3R, had the stop been above the wick. This is a very long wick, but look at later on during the day. Right, so this happened, higher volume, wick down, took out liquidity. Wherever liquidity was, there might have been a level over here way further back, but we found buyers. And the body is within the range of the previous candle. The only thing that's not ideal is that it closed red, but that's okay. An entry above here, stop 50% of the way down here, would have made it to at least 3R. So that is a strategy I like trading. Not quite sure where it was on the cams though. I think I'd have to hit the replay over here to see. Yeah, above S3 here is a really good area to go long. So that was it on INTC yesterday. Did not take it. I'm just looking at it after the fact. Let's take that out. Gold selling still, or are we finding buyers? And it's just dropping. HD, curious to see what it, oh, look at that line. Right, that's where I'd zoom in. Right, it went and touched the line. I want to see, do we see a bearish candle print? Be nice to see it print, maybe even take out liquidity above the 295 for the further move down. So this is something that I would definitely be looking at right now when I was trading equities. This would be one that I'd find conviction in selling if we do pop up here on low volume and just cannot find buyers, and then the possibility of shorting it from there. Right, because at the end of the day, it hasn't come down that much from the close of yesterday. So what else is going on? Wow.
Qs are busting out of the gate.
Yeah, nice.
SPY is kind of in tow, not as strong, but looking like it. Yeah, INTC, the semis are all INTC, AMD, Nvidia. They all look very similar right now on that chart in the 5 minute. They're punching through. Tesla's trying to make a bid to crack its session high right now, and the same with BILI too. We'll see. You said you were watching Home Depot.
Yeah, just they had earnings in the morning. So this was the earnings candle right here. Very low volume, but the earnings candle is always a very interesting level. So I put a level at the low here. We punched below that low, then came and retested. Did not give me an entry, even on the 2 minute. It just, and this is one of them where you have to feel very convicted about your trade and put a limit order to sell right there. And, you know, if that's the case, where do you put your stop? Well, stop would have to be above an area of consolidation, possibly over here. Right? Unless it comes in here, wicks up, rejects, and then comes down, then you can put your stop right above the wick, right where the sellers jumped in. So yeah, not planning on trading this, just looking at it. NQ is very strong right now. So this is something where I'm seeing the fair value gaps form. I would put in the fibs starting here. Don't know where it's reversing right now, but the high day for the moment is right here. And I would put in a limit order right here. If this candle closes red, I would be highly likely to put in a limit order here because the buyers are obviously in control right now, or at least they were. Look at these fair value gaps. That is a very big gap here. So the buyers are just getting in at all costs. So if I were to get in, let's say this is the high, it would be a limit order. It would be a limit order buy. The stop would be just below the 61.8 right here, and the limit would be right above the 50, around there. The risk would not be in units, it would be in dollars. Let's just put it at 100 just to see. It's just one contract, and then 3R would be at 74, 7.21, 220, around there. Best way to track it is that's the entry, that's the stop. That's 3 right there, and right there. And obviously, it's just not 3R. You're looking at the area as well. Is it likely to go back to that area? I'm going to put in this order right here as a paper trade. Gold is still selling off. Q. So there you go. Got filled. And I'm placing it as well on the top step. Where is the stop here? 28,900. 28,900.
Pretty steep pullback on INTC here. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I wasn't, just clearing my throat.
Yeah, no, steep pullback on INTC. You know what's funny is that trade that I took yesterday in INTC, I left a fib on my chart, and it's really interesting how price action will respect those fib levels like in the future. I can see the pre-market. It's like kind of what Abhi talks about, these measured moves. It's just, you can see the pre-market just lock in place at the 23 level and then the 38 level. So these fib levels mean something after a noteworthy event, you know.
Yeah.
If they're, I guess, drawn or placed correctly.
Yeah.
They have a memory.
And then you can place them from the high to the low and just move it sideways. And then you see that with I did something wrong there. My stop wasn't in the right spot. Yeah, shouldn't be filled right now. Stop is at and did a little mess up over there. Watch it, it'll just take off from now. That's fine. INTC. So from the top to the bottom, you can tell that where it chopped over here was in the golden zone. So the zone is often respected. So we started selling there, and where did we start buying? Well, we started buying right around here, but it never made it up. So I don't know which direction were you putting the fibs for INTC yesterday?
Pretty much from that. Let me just double check here. I think it was from that.
From the
we
top
call
to
the
the bottom?
kangaroo tail.
At the top?
I think it was at the Kangaroo Tail from the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Let me just double check here.
Yeah, where we started buying over here, like this, from there to
Yeah, it was the bottom of the Kangaroo Tail
here.
up to that big green candle at 12:50 p.m. Eastern time, and that's how I drew my fib from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, right there, and how it came right down to the 50 here. Yeah, so MNQ might stop out. Isn't that awesome that I show these hundreds of times and they work like 80% of the time? And when I actually take one on the paper trading here, or maybe I'll get lucky and he won't stop me out. But that's how I take them, right? I did try to take it on top step, but I messed up with the stop. And watch it. It looks, the price action looks like it's going to stop me out right now. No, it didn't make a low. That's on the 2 minute. Let's go back to the 5. Yeah, these are some big green and big red candles. So the reason I liked it was because it did have room to the left at the bottom. It did make a quick move to the tops. The pullback is a bit fast. Right, the pullback, I like a stair-step pullback, but I figured this is a paper trade just to show where the levels are. I just figured I'd put it on. But yeah, that pullback, the big red candle would spook me out a bit. Curious to know from the top over here on the 1 minute. There you go, stopped out over here. So there you go. It's not working right now with the limit order. I mean, with people that trade this with market orders are going to see if it dips in here and doesn't close beyond the 61.8. If it does, then I take it all off.
Well, that BILI stock has gone up 8%. It's quite in 15 minutes. Sorry to interject.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Look at that. No, please don't hesitate. It's not my show. I'm just here sharing my screen, and I want to see what you guys are trading and what
just watching for now. We got to have some kind of pullback on BILI.
Yeah,
some orderly pullback, and we'll
there
see.
was one right here, right? If you were to look at the buying that started over here and then reversed right there, it did reverse a bit, right? But it's not enough of a pullback for the fib strategy. So you can put it over there. Those are really tight ranges on, and again, I don't trade BILI ever, but I had earnings. Yeah, whatever. BILI. Yeah, I seem to remember having traded this before. I remember that it was a Chinese stock and might have been in play. Let me go to the daily.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna make a run for the pre-market high around 2040-ish.
Yeah,
Somewhere in that zone. We'll see. But
yeah, 2020. I think I might have during this year. It might have been in the news.
Yeah,
a lot. INTC seems to be choppy. AMD, yeah, those are some massive candles. That just makes me want to step away. Let's see what the market's doing. Look at that wick down here. So yeah, not doing anything right now. Don't like trading these massive candles. GC still selling. Yeah, that entry here would have been nice. Oil did not make it to above liquidity over here. Right, we just could not make it above this level yesterday, and again today could not make it above that level. M2K, big overlapping candles here. That's a step away type thing. Copper, again, big fair value gap here, but then a green one printed inside of this one. This I can't trade this price action. Bitcoin's just a choppy mess. Silver was pulling back, finding buyers at S6 possibly. To document this one.
Wow, I think AMD did almost a complete retracement here.
Yeah.
Just about. Woo.
Yeah, this is untradeable price action.
Yeah.
Here.
Nvidia's got some wicks on those candles. I'm referring to the 5-minute chart, by the way. We had declining volume on the pullback. I mean, we may see a breakout here, but I'm just not a fan of the huge wicks.
Yeah.
Although, you know, southern wicks indicate buying pressure, but it just lets you see a little more body, a little less wick. Because I have to count for wick in my risk, and if the wick is really big, then that means my share size is decreased. And
just as a continuation to the Kangaroo Tail, this one right here, it's pre-market, but this during the day is what I look for. It's at a level, there's room to the left, you know, and then, you know, you buy,
yeah,
go long,
because that kind of coincides
break,
pretty closely with yesterday's low. Is that right? Is that...
and you know, it would have been a 5-hour trade. Would have been, could have, you know, obviously. I always say hindsight is 2020. But I'm just sharing it because that I don't like that it's in pre-market, so I wouldn't have taken it. But this pattern, a little bit further down the road, like INTC yesterday, is a higher probability, I should say. By high probability, I just mean above 50%. And it's just a little bit more likely to go in your favor. And with proper risk management. Sorry, go ahead.
Just going to say this early downside momentum, it feels a bit trappy. Most things were in the low end of the range and they've broken straight down, really big candles, and they are breaking straight down into prior support areas. So I'd just be careful if anybody's looking at this and thinking it's going down to go short with it. Maybe just hold off and wait.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. Uh, 9:53. This is why I don't like the first half hour. Right? You want to see where the market is going. And with these massive candles here, there's no way to tell who's really in charge. We still have a very big bullish fair value gap here. So that limit order, the proper stop placement, I was just doing it according to the fibs over here in the 50% retracement area. But a good placement would be below the fair value gap. So anyway, this is one that that did not work. I'm going to document it and say that, you know, it's these massive big candles, and it's in the first 20 minutes. So let's see what happens from now. We're looking at AMD.
What do you think of AMD? I mean, I know it's kind of formed a double low, double bottom here, and we had kind of a green hammer that just printed.
Yeah, I don't like it just because it's we've been in there, right? The move happened. If you were going to go long, right? It just we went long. We went all the way up to 428, and then from there retraced. So for me, there's nothing in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
No touch. Yeah, no, I'm not touching, but it's just I just saw that whenever I see a green hammer at the bottom of a trend, my eyes are like long. Pay attention.
Yeah,
but not all of them are worth taking.
Well, the thing is, you want to go long, but we've been there, right? We were just there 10 minutes ago. You know, that was quite the move up. And then to retrace all the way down to the bottom. Now, is this really people getting in and really buying? I don't know. Volume doesn't really dictate that it is. Right? And now we're making a new low. So, yeah. Just looking at these massive candles here, for me, it's a no-go.
Yeah.
I just got my alert here on silver. This is where I would be looking at taking a short. Right? The move was down. We stair-stepped all the way back up. I prefer the 5-minute. I don't like that it printed fair value gaps on the way up. Right? That's one of the conditions that I'm looking at. Not convinced that I'm going to be using it, but it put in a kangaroo tail at the bottom here on the 5-minute time frame, which is a buying indicator, at S6, which is a support indicator, and started printing these bullish fair value gaps. Right? So do we continue selling here? I don't trust it. Reserve capital, unless the pattern is A plus, A to A plus, I prefer to conserve capital. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Didn't actually make it too well. Then again, started selling. Let's say if I go over here, because that was the high previous, but the selling really started right here, right where the first fair value gap started, right there, and then reversed. So we'll see what the pattern looks like in a few minutes. MNQ is just chopping around here. I wouldn't do anything until it comes back into this range over here and shows its hand. Is it going to go up higher than this? Higher than PDC? The reason I'm leaving this fib on here is because we never closed down below the 61.8. Right, so I'm leaving it on there just to see, is this golden zone still a good area to possibly go long? I'm not seeing enough strength yet. Take a screenshot of this. Oops. Here we go. Document one that did not work. Just chopping around. AMD just selling off. Right, that hammer at possible support here did not prove to be support. We've got a lot of selling. That's a lot of volume. Look left to where was the last time we were there. Is there an obvious level of support here? Right, we closed this. Oh, we did. Did we close this gap? Yeah. So we close this gap over here. And then this area over here, right? We touched, and then a couple areas over here. And it's S4, so it might be an interesting area right now. If it were to put in a kangaroo tail over here, this might be an interesting level. Come on. Yeah, not much of a pullback on BILI.
Yeah, not much. Just checking out Apple, and Apple ran up and tagged kind of the previous day high area from yesterday. Getting a pullback on that one.
Declining volume on the pullback. This is interesting. So we started buying just in pre-market here. Here we go. So right at the CP in the central pivot area here would be a 50% pullback. Right. So this, from the way that I draw it here, would be an interesting area to start looking at it. I'm just going to put an alert right above it. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of piqued my interest too.
There you go. But we're still within the initial balance range, right? Still within the first 30-minute candle range on Qs and SPY. Right, we're still within this range. It's an interesting liquidity sweep here. I completely ignore it because it did not take out liquidity from yesterday. Right, you just look left and it's like, okay, we were there. Yes, we were selling here. We couldn't find buyers above. But for me to really pay attention to it, it needs to sweep up. Preferably where there isn't like no room to the left over here. So, but right now, all I'm seeing is that it's within the range of the first 30 minutes. Right? Same with this. So we don't know the direction yet. Yeah, and we're just chopping around on NQ. Apple 298 seems to be a very interesting level. But now we're showing selling pressure with the fair value gap printing on the way down. But it's printing right into a really big fair value gap. So you're assuming that a lot of buyers are considering this fair value, right in the middle of this area here. Declining volume. What does CVD tell us? CVD doesn't tell us anything. CVD is doing the same thing as price. Right? So interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely checking that out. I'm gonna trade. If I took a trade on Apple, I would trade the direction, which is AAPU, the 2x bull of Apple. But I have Apple AAPL on my screen to see the mother chart. But the AAPU is, everything looks pretty similar. If you look at the volume profile, it's pretty similar. It's not exact, but
yeah, the CVD on AAPU is a little bit more telling than AAPL because price is moving down, but we're slowing down on the movement. Right? You would think that we're going down, 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 but over here we're going down, and then we're slowing down on the movement lower.
what does that tell you?
That these are not massive sellers getting out on market orders. Right? There's not much of a panic selling happening right now even with these big pullbacks. Starting to show a little bit and flipping back and forth over here. So that's interesting. AAPU I've never looked at, so I'm going to go back to AAPL.
Kind of getting towards the golden zone here.
Yeah, but there's selling pressure, right? You're looking at these fair value gaps. It's showing that we're skipping levels. We're strongly selling over here. But I'd like to see what it does at the 50, and then it would have to show me a signal that the buyers are regaining control. And for me, that happens by looking at price action and candlesticks. And NQ is just dropping. NQ is dropping. MEFs not as much. Approaching low of day on NQ. Yeah, approaching low of day on ES as well.
Yeah.
And then
These look they're gonna break down here. Nvidia, INTC all having the same move along with the market.
yeah, now, do you look at that even though you're thinking about going long on Apple? That's just, right, just a general question. It's hard to tell, right? This was definitely a breakout. If you're looking at it as a breakout and retest, this was a level from PDC. And we just broke right through it. And then are we just coming back to retest this to go long? What's Google doing? Because it was at all-time highs yesterday, I believe. Yeah. So yesterday, all-time highs, pulling back. Yeah, that's quite the pullback. So I don't really see much there. AAPU. Let's put the levels on this instead. There. Oh, there we go. I should have snapped it. Let me try that. Let's use a magnet to go to.
Wonder if we're getting a little hammer kind of form here the last minute of this 5 minute.
3860.
An increased volume here.
Yeah, that's CP and PDC level over here. I'd like it to be touched. It's in, and the 50, right? It's a
And I'm looking at BILI, and it's pulling back, but I didn't like the second pullback candle, how we printed a red hammer towards the top with increased volume. I don't like to see, I don't like to see hammers at top of ranges. Sorry.
What were you saying, Emzo?
I just took a small long on M2K. It's going counter trend, so I don't want to say I have much conviction in it, but I'm looking to the left, and we've got the last swing low, serious swing low was 27.25-ish, and also we have blown through the, I think, average daily range. So
yeah, that's a good point to be looking at. And on the 5 minute. Right, we're still selling. That was most recent high, most recent low. Yeah, 27.39.90 is the 50 from the last, because we're selling the last high, the last pullback, right? If we go here and look at selling from there to here, right? Pulled right into the 50 and sold. This becomes my new anchor from there to the low. I'd be looking at the idea of possibly shorting 27.40 area. Again, not saying that to change anybody's convictions. It could absolutely have found a bottom here and take off from there. Same thing with NQ. We are just below yesterday's low.
I just don't think there's much reward for going short down here. Yeah, unless we have like a spectacular day where, you know, markets just free fall. My indicator showing we've done 100% of typical range from the highs.
But aiming for 3R, I get there without even making a new low. Right? Let's just.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
right.
I'm on the 30 minutes, so I'm seeing.
Yeah, different time frames. I can be going short for 3R over here while you're going long, and we can both be profitable.
Absolutely.
So let's do this over here. Bring the stop. I'm going to try to do this a little bit quickly. The limit order sell would be right around there. We'll just put this here and sell. There you go. Let's see if it triggers. It would have already triggered. Tried to do it quickly. Don't worry about the dollar amount here. This is just paper trading. And let's just see. Wouldn't it be great to show that you could have gone long from here and your target would be above here, but going short from here could also be profitable. So now we're approaching the target on APU. I'm going to bring it back to AAPL because that's the that's what just came up. Did I take the fib? Oh yeah, the fibs are there. Let's move them aside. So 351 is the top. 351. I like being precise. So now I'll move it like here. Again, hasn't reached a 50 yet, but it has reached PDC. So interesting area here. M2K. I put my limit order a tiny bit too late. Limit order is at 2740, and the high of this candle is 2740. So this limit order would have filled, and I wouldn't put it at 2740. I'd put it a tick or two down. So 2739.70, let's say. And by doing that, I'd have to move the stop right above here. Right. And we'll keep it on there for now. 15 more minutes until 10:30.
We've done a lot of consolidation last few days, so the market is definitely coiling for some sort of a big move, I'd say.
Yeah, let's go over here. Over here. So definitely consolidation happening over here, right? Going sideways over here. It's definitely at an interesting level right now where we could come and retest the low over here and then just dump.
Yeah. I think if we do that, we could have something explosive. It just feels like the market's waiting. Maybe there was some sort of news event and the volatility has just been compressing, but now it sort of feels like it's coiled. Maybe a break and retest would be good.
Yeah. And the VIX is climbing up a bit, but it's not excessive. Right? You would expect the VIX to be in this area to see a massive drop. But then again, the drop could happen and it could push up the VIX all the way up here. M2K. So it's just chopping around this area here. Did not get to the profit level yet. I'm going to leave it here. Let's see what happens. Right, the order is set, right? The order is set. And yeah. 740.
Yeah, I don't like the way it's hanging out down here.
Yeah, for your long.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending where your stop is, it's yeah. I don't know what strategy you're using. I don't want to influence at all. And just
My stop was below 27.25. My entry was 27.30.
2730 right here. Just wow, that's right at the bottom.
Yeah, I was willing to add a bit closer to 27.25. So I've got a limit order there, and I've got a limit order at 27.5 as well.
There was a 3R profit on the trade that I did not get filled on. Had I put it in a little bit, a few seconds earlier, I would have been filled and the 3R would have been met. So it just goes to show that the 50% retracement, once you can confidently figure out the direction, the 50% is unbelievably profitable, but with limited R's. Right? The strategy that I keep showing here is not something where you're going to get 10 R's out of it, unless you do it on a higher time frame, which you can. Right? These levels work on higher time frames as well. But we haven't made a new low yet. So could this be the perfect example of saying that you know what? I can short it and make 3R. And even though you are long, you could get to whatever R value your target was at. Right? It often happens. Now that the move has happened, I am going to take the trade off. Right.
I pulled my stop in tighter. I don't like how long it's hovering down here.
Yeah.
This is not what I'd typically expect. Because it's counter trend, I'd expect it to sort of wick up and make a fast move back towards the area where it sort of needs to retest. It's very steady. So yeah, just going to de-risk it a little bit.
Yeah. Very curious to see how this candle closes here. All right, this candle close, it just closed. So not ideal. Would have liked it to close near the top. We can make a new 5-minute high here. We can break the high here with conviction. I'd be very pleased for your long. So yeah, this one I would have taken. Right, it's showing that the last pullback, it worked twice, right? It worked from here to was it there? From there to there. Or no, the most recent sell was right here. Right? This is where the most recent impulse sell right at the open. Right? And then we started buying here, went up into the 50, right? Tagged the 50 and then broke down. So that becomes your new anchor. Right here. Where did it go to? Right at this candle right here. Move it sideways. Tag the 50. Actually, just didn't tag it. Let me take this out of here. Yeah, I tagged it. 2740. High 2740. So tag the 50, and you don't need a massive move. This is 3 R's right here. Right, so the short is right here. The stop is right above the 61.8. 3R is right here. Right, so I'm going to keep this here just to take a screenshot of it. That's a nice setup. 2 nice setups. Right.
I was watching the 2-year bonds and they have just closed a gap. Sorry, I've just lost track of my charts. Here we go. Yeah, the bonds just did a gap fill, so I'm wondering if now do we crack on from here or can we catch a bounce?
What ticker are you looking for that?
It's just a 2-year bonds. ZT1.
Repeat, please.
ZT1. Zebra Tango 1.
Perfect. Thank you. That's not it there. Zebra. ZT1. Do I not get it here? Building Society. Is that it? I'm not used to looking at this. Zebra Tango 1.
Just if you go on futures and see if it shows up there.
There it is.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. Bond market is not something I look at very often. And these candles here just show you that this is all algo trading all around here, even in here, right? Which doesn't mean that it's not something that you're trading, Hamza, right? It's just something it's something you're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, they are super liquid. So they're very, very good indicator in terms of I think that's your main interest rate mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So whatever traders are pricing in is what they expect in terms of the economy.
Yeah.
But no, I don't use them for particular anything. Just
It was a 10-year, I believe, made a big move yesterday. What was I looking at yesterday? This is the Vanguard Total Bond Market I was looking at. Oh yeah, this is from an example that I was showing about the bond ETFs. Right? You look at where they hang out. They just fluctuate in here, but they pay dividends. Right? They pay dividends over here every month. Right? So you're not getting into something like this for the big moves. You're getting into it because they pay you every month. Right? It's like a loan. So Apple, okay, so Apple dipped into the 50. If this were to close green and start breaking out of there, that might be an interesting area. As far as the 2 minute is concerned, there's not much of a 2 minute bullish candle here. So this one closed red. It would have to be, right? The 50 doesn't seem to be working so far, but we haven't closed underneath the 61.8. So again, I'm looking for a signal. Want to see that the buyers are jumping in.
Yeah, I don't see it on Apple either. And the volume profile, yeah, nothing yet on that one. So
Yeah.
still watching BILI too. I'm not liking that price action on BILI.
Yeah.
I think Apple's was a better contender, but right now I'm looking at it, the pullback at the 78% fib level. So it's pretty steep. But if we get a green hammer here, maybe, because there's a simple 200 moving average on the 5 minute chart and a 50 just below that for support. But it's a pretty steep pullback.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of green hammer prints on the Q and the SPY 5 minute right now.
Q5.
You seeing the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
With some pretty good volume too. So
Yeah.
let's see if things will kind of turn around. But still sitting on my hands.
Just what I don't like about this, when I do like trading the Kangaroo Tail, this would be considered a Kangaroo Tail, but this is something that I would only trade it on price action. I would not necessarily get in right on the break, because what did it do? The next candle just broke up higher, right? But just printed higher to catch a lot of longs, and now it's pulling back. So we have to see volume come in. You need to see buyers come in for this to be a pattern that I would trade. And it needs to be at a level. Right now, it's just in between S4, S6. Is there an actual level here? Right. Let's go to the 4 hour. All right, let's go to a line. So this level right here, Alt H. And this was resistance right here. So there you go. So it's in between these two levels here. I go back to the 5. So yeah, it's in between.
Looks like INTC printed your Kangaroo Tail here at the bottom.
We see needs to be on the 5. Yeah, for it to be a Kangaroo Tail, it needs to be the one. This candle needs to be the one that wicks down. So it needs to be the low. Right? And I don't see one here. This broke down the low yesterday's low, could be retesting the low over here, but the move has happened, right? This is ATR, as far as ATR is concerned, this is probably the entire ATR. So yeah, not seeing much. It's very slow moving right now. I'm going to pull back. What time is it? Yeah, it's 10:30. I'm going to pull away, maybe set up a couple levels on here and just watch from afar. Yeah, gold has been interesting. Look at how it came into the 50% area, did not close above here and then just sold off again, right? But if this were a limited order, it would have been I would have been stopped out, unless I put my stop above somewhere else. But did not get into this. But look at the area, right? If you can figure out a strategy that works around this area, it most often works. So we're selling on oil. The most recent sell was right over here, pulled back into here, then it closed up above. So I would get rid of this. All right, we're selling again here. I would draw one from here, and I would stop it wherever we find support. But I don't like it because there's no room to the left, right? From the tops, maybe. But from where it is right now, there's too many areas for possible support and or resistance. So not liking much right now, except for this M2K. I wish I would have taken it short for 3R, but hopefully Hamza's still in it because it's undecided right now which direction it's going. But on the 5-minute, printed a little bit of a fair value gap here. We can make a new high in here and start, showing some buying pressure. Maybe MNQ and MES will follow. Yeah, other than that, I'm not seeing much today. So with that, the alarm went off for 10:30. So the room remains open. You guys, I'm sure, are gonna hang out and chat and see what's going on. And I'll be back tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks very much, Bill.
Thank you.
Talking to you guys.
Adios.
Take care.
Thank you, Jay.